Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Caroline Garnet McGraw with The Clearing, and today we're here to talk about the truth about anger and addiction. The subtitle for this could have been Why We Do the Things We Don't Want to Do. That's what we're going to dive into here and now today. So get your notepads ready. You might well have a breakthrough moment on this video, so get ready to learn. So again, I'm Caroline Garnet McGraw with The Clearing, and The Clearing is a non-12-step dual diagnosis residential addiction treatment center on the beautiful San Juan Island. And another way of translating all that is to say that we help people stop doing the things they don't want to do and start altering their lives for good. And so today we're going to talk about how do we manage anger and how do we heal from it? How do we feel it and then let it go and move on? Because we know that anger and addiction are very intricately connected. And often what manifests as addiction comes back to an inability to feel or to manage your anger. So that's what we're going to dive into today. I'm going to give you a visual for this, and this is a visual that we use in our program. It's called the Anger, Hurt, Loving model. So I'm going to hold this up as I speak so you can see it and you can follow along. So here we go. This is the full model, and I'm going to talk you through every aspect of this. So, ready to dive in? Here we go. The first principle is that whenever we feel anger up here, there is a hurt that's present that underlies that anger. So just sit with that for a minute. Beneath every feeling of anger, there's a hurt that is present. That might be a light bulb moment for you right now. You might have been dealing with anger for years and not understanding that the reason it won't go away is because you haven't healed the underlying hurt. So I like what Dr. Martha Beck has to say about anger. She says that it arises when something we need is absent or something that we cannot tolerate is present. So once again, we feel angry when something that we need is absent or something that we cannot tolerate is present. And either way, we feel hurt, right? Because if we don't have what we need, then we're hurting. And if we're in the presence of something that is painful and intolerable to us, then we're hurting. So beneath anger, there is hurt. The second principle of this model is that beneath hurt, there is loving. This might not feel as intuitive, but if you think about it, one of the reasons that our hurts persist so tenaciously is because there is a part of us that wants them to be healed, right? There is a part of us that knows that we need to be able to take care of ourselves and we need to give ourselves care in order to heal. So there's a power inside of us that cares for those hurting parts. And that's part of why they're so persistent, is because they want to be healed. They want our attention. I'm just going to move this a little bit. Let's see if I move it to this side, if that's a little bit clearer. Not really. Okay, so the first part of the model is that beneath anger, there's hurt. The second part of the model is that beneath hurt, there is loving, which brings us to the third principle, which is when we apply love to the parts of ourselves that hurt, that's when we heal. So you might be thinking, that sounds really great and everything, but how do we do that? And that's something that we teach at our program. We really teach the practical, real-world strategies that allow you to apply love to those parts of yourself that hurt. So I'll give you the visual again. When we apply love to the parts of ourselves that hurt, then we get healing. But it's not always that simple in real life, is it? Things happen and blocks come up. So the first thing that happens is that we get a ton of messages that say that we are not allowed to express or feel our anger. Particularly for women in this culture, anger is very taboo. Anger is not allowed. Many of us got messages as children that it was not nice or it was not good to feel or express anger. So as a result of all of those messages that we internalize from various sources, we put up an internal wall around our anger. And that's represented by that diagonal line right there. We block it off. So we feel anger and we say, nope, not going there, not feeling that anger. Mm-mm. And when we have that internal wall between us and our anger, that's when we start to experience depression. Because in our program, we actually define depression as anger turned inward. And depression may feel like numbness, helplessness, despair, but it begins with the experience of not allowing ourselves to feel our anger. So the anger feels like too much. And guess what? Our hurt feels like too much too. We don't want to feel our hurt. So we cut ourselves off from the hurt too. We add another diagonal to this model. And as a result, we've put up these two internal walls, right? And what happens is that our emotional energy doesn't like to be walled off like that. So our emotions get trapped between our unfelt anger and our unfelt hurt. And they start bouncing up and down. They start going back and forth. They're trying to get out, but we're like, nope, not going to feel that here, not going to feel that there. And that bouncing up and down experience is what we refer to as anxiety. It's that feeling like you're kind of coming out of your skin a little bit. It's because you're not willing to feel those emotions, that anger and that hurt, and your energy is getting trapped. And so what this looks like in this model, you can see anxiety is those up and down arrows between the anger that we refuse to feel and the hurt that we refuse to feel. So then what happens when we add stress? Stress is this extra arrow coming down from the top, right? What happens when something hits our life and things go a little crazy? Well, then the anxiety revs up. It revs up because, oh my God, if I don't do this, I'll lose my job or I'll lose my family. Oh no, we have a revving of this energy, and that is what translates to panic. Panic is it's an acceleration of anxiety. So panic feels like a death sentence, and it feels very, very scary when you're hyperventilating and having a panic attack and you can't breathe. But it may be helpful to you to look at this and remember that panic is just revved up anxiety. It's more intense. It's a more intense version of what you've already been experiencing. So I hope that can be helpful for you. And what happens when we have this panic, we have this anxiety, we have all of this energy inside of us, it feels awful. It feels so uncomfortable and just like, again, like we're coming out of our skin. So what do? We try and do something to help us feel better. And that looks different for different people. Some people drink a lot. Some people take drugs. Some people do a lot of shopping. Some people work way too hard. They work themselves into the ground. Some people have a lot of sex. Some people gamble away their life savings. The point is, we pick a behavior to try and ameliorate that intense experience of discomfort within ourselves that happens when we've put up these walls. We check out. We feel bad, so we check out. But the way out is not actually to just work on these behaviors. The way out is actually to take down these internal walls. Because that's where this whole cycle starts in the first place, right? Because if you don't have these internal walls, then you don't have the anxiety, you don't have the panic, and then you don't feel so horrible, and then you don't go ahead and do all of these dysfunctional behaviors that you don't want to do anymore. So the key is to allow yourself and learn how to let yourself feel your anger in a healthy way, feel your hurt in a healthy way, take care of those feelings within yourself, to be your own friend, to be your own counselor. And that is what helps you to heal. And that is what actually breaks the addictive cycle. So I hope that's been helpful for you. I'm just going to go over and check the comments because I see we have some viewers, and Mark says, cool. Laura, yes, it is. It's very cool. A lot of our participants, when they see this model, their faces light up. They're like, this is the story of my life. This is what's been happening. I'll give you one more visual of it. Hold it up. So just remember that when you don't express your anger and when you don't express your hurt and when you cut yourself off from those feelings, that's when you start the addictive cycle. The addictive cycle doesn't start with using drugs. It starts way, way before that with the underlying core issues, with the anger, with the anxiety and the depression. Those are the things that lead to using. So I'm just going to check one more time if there are any other comments, any questions for me before we wrap up. All right. It makes a lot of sense, Kim says. Yes, it really does. Day 1 sober, Junius. Oh, congratulations. Congratulations. That's awesome. Honored to be here on your first day of sobriety. All right, everyone. This is Caroline McGraw signing off with The Clearing. Talk to you next time. Bye.